Hey, I'm Naomi Kramer Overton, and I am so excited that you have joined us today because do you need hope? Well, I do, and my friends do, and I bet you do too. And today we're going to be talking about not just the topic of hope and meeting some really great women who are going to tell you about their journey with hope, but we're going to invite you into a community where for the next few weeks you can actually grow in hope. So I want to introduce my co-hosts for today's Facebook Live. We have Kara Day. Kara, go ahead and say something so we know who you are.
Hello, glad to be here. Welcome, everyone.
And Kara is a writer and illustrator. She has served with Stonecroft Ministries, helping women live extraordinary. And I'm privileged to serve as the CEO and president of Stonecroft Ministries, as well as the podcast host for Every Woman's Story podcast with Stonecroft Ministries. And what is Stonecroft? Well, it's a whole bunch of women that find God's extraordinary for every moment of ordinary. So I want to go ahead and introduce our other awesome guest today, who is Rachel Lindsay McCants. Rachel is an author, speaker, and founder of Our Lindsay Unlimited, which encourages, inspires, and challenges ladies to raise their self-worth and standards. Love that. And to walk in God's will in Jesus' name. So welcome, Rachel.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this.
I love it. I especially love the part of your bio about raise our standards, which brings me to a fun kind of welcome question as I welcome the people who are joining us from two communities, from the Every Woman's Story community. Welcome. We're going to continue with our thread of sharing our stories, discovering our best stories, our purpose, and our people, all as we look at God's story. You have a story, and we believe every one of us has a seat at Jesus' table. So welcome to Every Woman's Story community. And then I also want to welcome the Stonecroft Ministries community, who is a group of women all over the nation. And actually there's people around the world too, who really love connecting with God, each other, and our communities, and finding just something beyond the ordinary for every moment of our ordinary, having that extraordinary. So I want to start with a fun question. Okay. We're talking
Bring it on.
All right, hang on. Gear up. All right, so we're talking about hope, and there's this little holiday around the corner called Valentine's Day. And I want to know from you, from Rachel and from Kara, do you love it or would you rather lose it, and why? Kara?
Oh, you're going to make me go first. I like the idea of Valentine's Day. The classic sitting over a candlelight meal and having some chocolates and some roses, like that sounds really good. But when was the last time, we experienced that? Any of us? I know for me, it's been a really long time, and not because I'm not loved. So I like the idea of it. Does that count? I don't know. Rachel, what about you?
Yeah, Rachel.
Hi. So me, personally, I love Valentine's Day because my fondest memories are from my childhood. And when I was in elementary and middle school, my daddy made sure to come bring me roses every Valentine's Day. And he would bring me roses and chocolate and a bear. And no one has done such yet. So, good luck, future husband. So we will see. But right now, as I am, I could probably lose it, but I just love it because of how my daddy instilled the love in me.
Awesome. Well, man, okay, that's over the top wonderful. I love it, Rachel. So, okay, I'm going to answer too, because we're all about our stories can be different, but they're uniquely ours. Well, I think, there's a saying, I'm a mom of 4, and there's a saying that you're only as happy as your least happy child. And as a mom. And so sometimes Valentine's Day, my heart is kind of very concerned for my children. If they're in a great loving relationship, like my son's married to this awesome woman, I'm happy for his Valentine's Day and her Valentine's Day. If they're not in that kind of thing right now, then I'm like, oh, I hope it's good for her. And I kind of, she's far away, but like, I want to just take her in my arms and say, let's go do something fun and ignore that weird day that everything's supposed to be perfect. So, okay. So speaking about perfect and hopes, I want to hear kind of as we invite people into a journey of exploring hope together, I want to ask each of you vulnerably, what's going on with hope in your own life right now?
Me personally, I am having hope because of what I've gone through. These are all past experiences I keep bringing up, but I went through a brain tumor situation, and just how God has brought me through that and where he is taking me now, I have no reason but to hope. And I really feel like hope is attached to joy, and the joy of the Lord is our strength. Because when we have hope, we have that joy. And people often ask me, why am I so happy all the time? And I'm like, it's just because of what Jesus has done in my life and the hope I have for my future. Because he has plans to prosper me, not to harm me. And I'm super excited about that.
Rachel, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Oh, that challenges me. Rachel. Where do I have hope? Or where am I looking for hope? Such a big question, Naomi. I'm going to need a few minutes to think about that. I tell you why I have hope for even just today, because I'm trying not to look too far down the road, like thinking that I'm going to have it all planned out and this is the steps that I'm going to follow. So I'm trying to concentrate on today. And my hope really comes from looking for God in the now and in the today. Where is he showing up that I can come alongside him? Or how is he coming alongside me even in my, not so greatness, my brokenness? So I'm trying to concentrate each day on hope and finding that every single day.
All right.
How about you, Naomi?
Oh, do I have to answer?
Yes.
A special guest.
Yes.
Kara, I actually did a word study on hope not too long ago. And I discovered that often in the Bible, which I love reading and learning from the Bible, that hope is tied in with trust. Like the hope is actually a gift from God. It's not something we drum up. But what we do, like you said, is just that trust. There's that trust. Today, I'm going to trust. And if I'm honest, it's not just today I'm going to trust. It's like these 5 minutes. Sometimes it's these 5 minutes I'm going to trust. And so that gives me a pathway to hope, and I like that. So we're going to be hanging out together, the three of us and some other friends, and everybody's invited from Every Woman's Story community, from Stonecroft community, and we are going to be on a journey of hope together this season leading up to Easter. We're going to be starting Thursday, the 23rd of February, and be getting together live on Thursday nights and going through a 6-session exploration, fun conversation, transparent stories, getting into the Bible on the topic of hope. And so what I would love to hear, maybe Kara, you could start us out, because I've been in online groups like this before with you, and oh my goodness, they were so awesome. So I'd love for you just preview for us. What are these 6 sessions, or what's it going to be like?
Well, Naomi, first and foremost, I hope that it's welcoming, very, very welcoming for everyone. And I want women to know that they can engage on whatever level they feel comfortable with. But we're going to look at real women's stories, people who have walked through situations where they absolutely needed hope. And so we're going to look at those together. We'll also have a chance to share with one another about fun things. We'll have fun things. Don't worry. It's not all like serious. We'll talk about fun things that point to greater truths. And then that's what's going to take us into Scripture, the Bible. And we're going to be in the book of Genesis for those 6 weeks. Now, Genesis is huge. We're not going to go in depth. We're not going to go super nitty gritty unless you choose to do it, which we always encourage. But we're going to see how people who lived a really long time ago, real people with real problems, how each of them found a hope, who they looked to something bigger than themselves. And so through stories, through conversation, through even activities, that's going to be a good time, and through looking at the Bible, that's what our time together will look like.
Okay, Genesis. Wait a minute. Isn't that the book where some really, really bad things happen that like set up a lot of more bad things? Okay, bad things, hope. Help me out here. What's the tie-in?
That is such a good question because the Bible starts off with a bang, right? The Bible starts off with first this incredible creation story, which just actually gives me chills to think about. And then everything falls apart, everything. And frankly, it doesn't get much better through the entire book of Genesis. But time after time after time, including right at the beginning when everything falls apart, God makes promises. And the coolest thing is we get to see him fulfill every single promise. So I think that's where we're going to start to see the hope. What do you think, Rachel?
I also think that we need hope to get us through those tough and challenging times that is described or illustrated in the Bible. So it's going to be a great study, and I'm excited for where we start, and I'm excited about Genesis, even though, again, it's a bit of a bang, like you said.
I love that. Well, one of the things I really like, I mean, when I think about hope in Genesis, which is where, the story of Adam and Eve come in and an apple or some fruit and yeah, all kinds of evil begins and all that stuff. I wouldn't have put those two together. But what I'm loving as I'm listening to the two of you is that when I think about hope, I don't need hope when I'm sailing along and I'm on a mountaintop and everything is great. Like normally I'm honestly just having so much fun. I don't even think about the topic of hope, right? I'm just like, this is fun. Let's keep doing this. And when I need hope is in the daily. And Kara, what you were saying about it was messy, but every single time God's promises were there and they proved true. And it lifted the people's heads and they could move forward. And I just love that. Well, in a minute, I think we're going to maybe see a video about this journey. And but before that, Rachel, I just want to hear, you mentioned something about a brain tumor, like, okay, first of all, you're very young and vibrant. And I happen to know a little bit about your background. You're like a fitness instructor, not who we think would have that happen to her, right? Can you just tell us a little bit about hope and how brain tumor and hope, like how those two things came together so that you're excited to share that with others now?
Yes, and I often say, and people look at me crazy every time I say it, that the brain tumor was the biggest blessing that had ever happened to me or has ever happened to me. And I got my hope in the midst of the situation because I was always raised in church and as a Christian. But this is where my true relationship with Christ came to be. And he just continued to provide. And as I was provided for, I had hope. I never received a bill for brain surgery. I never received a bill for chemo. I never received a bill for radiation. My company at the time collected a You Caring fund for me, and that took care of my initial medical bills. And then my uncle was taking care of the only bill I had, which was car note and car insurance. God had taken care of it all. And now I have no reason to question him, even though in my human state I do, but I have no reason to question him. I just can have hope. Even through the traumatic, dark time of my life, even though it was the best blessing ever, all I could really hold on to was hope. When you have nothing else to hold on to, a lot of times, you have hope.
Yeah, I've heard a saying, what is it? You never... you know that God is all you need when, God is all you have. And Kara, you have not been through a brain tumor. You have a story. I know you. I know both of you, which is so fun. We're going to have fun together. But can you just tell me, like, why do you care about hope from your own story?
Oh man, I've got lots of reasons. And I do have a cancer story, but actually a more recent time in my life that has really proven to me the power of hope was when I walked through a time of darkness and uncertainty where I kind of felt like everything I knew to be true about myself and even things I had assumed about God, it turned out they were all wrong. And when things start to unravel like that, you need a focus point. You need that pinprick of light that steadies you and where you can focus. And that definitely turned out to be God and his word, because that's where I started to go even deeper for truth. And truth to me is equal to hope in a very strange way, because if you don't have a foundation of what's right and knowable, then you're going to find yourself stumbling through life. And so it was just during that time where I was like, I don't even know what's true anymore, but I'm going to figure it out. And that is where I found a deep hope in God.
Wow. So listening to each of your stories, and actually it does, it makes me want to cry, just the provision for you, Rachel. And then Kara, what you said creates an invitation, because we do not have to have it all together. Our beliefs do not have to be like everything's making sense. I have the answer to everything in the world. And I'll share my answer with you if you want. You know, you, after having lived very earnestly and, you know, desiring to live a great life, came to a point where it was like, wait a minute, some things here aren't working. They're unraveling. And so that invitation to those of us who are going to be joining this online experience, this Bible study together, that please come if you are a hot mess. Please come if, like Kara or like me, I had a season where it was just a desert season of my life. And please come if you're in the middle of that. And then similarly, if you're just feeling blessing like what Rachel described, where you're like, oh my goodness, if it weren't for things like this happening in my life, you know, I just can't stop talking about how great it is, because it is. Either end of the spectrum and anything in between. If you're just like meh, I've been by myself and on screens for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, please come. You're going to be welcome here. We're not going to be weird, religious-y, all that stuff. We are real people. We are telling you our real stories. And we're going to look at the Bible together and just get into it. So in just a minute, we're going to watch a short video that tells you a little bit more about this resource. And also, we want to point you to how you start out with us. So we want to point you to a welcome page at extraordinarypurpose.org. And it'll be dropped in the comments for you to go click on that and click through extraordinarypurpose.org. And we'd love for you to get your resource. It's called Ordinary People, Extraordinary Hope, this 6-session study. You can get it digitally or you can get a print version. But because we're going to be starting February 23rd, there's also a free first chapter so that you can get started right away and have a digital download of that once you make the purchase. And I think the other thing, Rachel and Kara, since they're going to be our facilitators and they're going to be in groups with you and getting to know your face and your name and your story, just if you could say in one word, just what do you hope for these people we're talking to? What's one word that you want for them at the end of this time?
Encouragement.
Oh, I want more than one word. Okay, I'll say this. Questions. I want them to bring their questions.
That's great. So bring your questions, find encouragement, join us. It's going to be Thursday nights. starting February 23rd until the Thursday before Easter, which I think is the 6th of April. And we're going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. California time, also known as Pacific time. That was a bit biased to California. And so, and in Hawaii, I don't know. I hope you'll take a break and join us if you're there and you're very blessed to be there, or Alaska. And just welcome. And if you're somewhere else in the world, join us. We would love to hear where you're from. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end with the invitation again to register and come join us. We'll be interacting. You'll be known by face and name. You'll have a chance to hear other people's stories, hear God's story, and share your own. We believe at Every Woman's Story and at Stonecroft that every woman has a story, that everyone is welcome at Jesus's table, and that every one of us, God wants to meet us wherever we are and whatever's going on with our journey right now, to meet us and to bring us encouragement and to welcome our questions. So please join us and enjoy this video that will give you a little bit of an overview. God bless you guys.
Hey there, friends. I am Naomi, and I am so excited to welcome you into Ordinary People, Extraordinary Hope. You know, sometimes life can take us into situations where we wonder if we've forgotten our way. Maybe deep inside, we sense that there must be something more to this life, and still we wonder how to discover what will bring that deep meaning amidst the ever-changing seasons of life. This study series is designed to help us find answers to our bravest and most vulnerable questions, like, why am I here? And what's my purpose now? And how do I make sense of the wild swings of joy and hardship in this life? We don't have to sort through these questions alone. We can all live extraordinary purpose alongside friends who make us stronger. I know this not only personally, but through listening to others' stories. You see, along with my favorite roles of being a wife, a mom, a sister, a daughter, a friend, I'm also an author and CEO of Stonecroft Ministries and past president of MOPS, Mothers of Preschoolers International. Through these roles, I've walked alongside so many people in their spiritual journeys. And among those with the most hope and purpose, I kept hearing a single phrase: I never imagined I could. I may have had busy or unfamiliar or even sorrowful situations in my life, but I discovered a hope and a purpose that I never imagined I could. That we as ordinary people, and we're all ordinary people, can live each day with extraordinary purpose. So let's get started.
All right, and I will just welcome us back here just for a friendly goodbye. So Rachel and Kara and everyone who's with us, we welcome your questions. You can continue to put them in the chat box below if you have questions about the study, what we'll be doing. It's not really a study. It's really more of a get-together with friends. We will be looking at the Bible. We will be talking about our own stories. We'll be doing some activities together that are fun and just really feeling comfortable, like we're in our, well, for me, I feel comfortable when I'm in my slippers. And so like we're in our slippers together. So join us. Go ahead and register extraordinarypurpose.org, and we will see you February 23rd. Bye.